So in this video, we'll learn how to do the yogic breath. We'll learn about the three parts that we need to engage in when we do the yogic breath, which involve the belly, the mid-chest, and the upper chest. And we'll learn why it's important to engage all three parts of those spaces when we breathe. So let's start with the belly. When we want to engage the belly when we're breathing, it's important that we don't feel restricted in the hips. At the end of the day, the full asana yoga practice is so that we can feel comfortable seated in this position. If this is not comfortable, you can try putting a block underneath you. Maybe that helps elevate the spine a little bit. Otherwise, you can come onto your knees, maybe placing a blanket underneath your knees so they're not feeling any pain. Maybe a cushion in between your glutes and your heels to release weight off of your ankles. And just have a straight spine here. If neither of those are comfortable or accessible, you can try sitting on the edge of a chair, feet flat on the ground, spine straight. So once you've found your comfortable seat, bringing your hands onto your belly. And let's take a deep inhale, imagining our belly expanding or blowing up like a balloon. And exhale, actively bringing the belly back in. Let's do 2 more rounds like that. Inhale, expanding the belly, blowing it up. And exhale, actively pushing it back in. Last round. Inhale, expanding the belly, filling it up with air. And exhale, actively pushing it back in. So when we engage our belly when we breathe, we're massaging the organs that are around that region. That involves the kidney, the stomach, the liver, and the spleen. So you can imagine how good that is for our digestive system, our reproductive system, and our overall immunity system. It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which tells our body that we can relax. It allows us to rest, restore, digest. When we massage the kidneys, we activate the adrenal glands, which release hormones that help regulate our metabolism, helps regulate our blood pressure, and our overall immunity. So engaging our belly when we breathe is super important and activates all of those organs functioning a little better and overall health. Now let's bring our attention to the mid-chest, which is where our rib cage, our lungs, and our heart is located. Bringing our hands onto our rib cage here, you can bring them to the sides, and our thumbs, having them let go, so it's kind of like in an L shape, and bringing it to the mid part of your back. And taking an inhale, maybe using your hands to open up the rib cage here, and exhale, releasing, allowing it to contract. Inhale, expanding the rib cage, maybe using your hands to help expand that area. And exhale to contract. Last round. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. Expanding the rib cage. And exhale, release. So when I first started breath work, I found this super difficult to really expand that part of my body. And that was because I had really tight muscles here in this area. So we have really tiny muscles called intercostal muscles that are in between our rib cage bones. And if those are tight, it doesn't allow the rib cage to expand, doesn't allow the lung capacity to increase, and therefore just restricting the amount of air that comes into the lungs. So if you feel a little tight there, you can try doing some side stretches to kind of just warm up that part of the body. You can do the standing up as well. Just bringing one hand over the head, leaning towards one side, just stretching out the side of the torso. Doing some twists as well really helps warm up the mid-chest. So that really helps just open up that area. So when we engage the mid-chest in our breath, we actually activate the thymus gland, which is located in between the lungs. And that's the gland that produces white blood cells, which eventually help fight off infections, increase immunity in the body. So it's really good for respiratory health as well as heart health. Engaging the mid-chest also allows the lungs to detox, so it's really good for smokers. It's good for those that have asthma. It's good when you have congestion. So yeah, all of that happens by activating the mid-chest part of the torso when you breathe. Coming to the last part, which is the upper chest, you can think about the area where your collarbone is, the throat, the thyroid, and bringing your hands in between the collarbones, taking an inhale and lifting your shoulders up just to bring awareness into that upper chest, and exhale to release the shoulders. Taking an inhale to lift up the shoulders, filling the upper chest with air, and exhale through the nose, releasing the shoulders. Let's do one more round. Inhale, lifting up the shoulders, filling the upper chest with air, and exhale to release. So by engaging the upper chest, you engage the thyroid glands, which also releases hormones that help the metabolism. And it also allows more air to come into the brain, improving cognitive functionalities, helps with brain clarity, brain fog, helps with memory, and with focus. So by engaging the belly, the mid-chest, and the upper chest, we really just create a well-functioning internal body and system, allowing us just to have an optimal experience in our daily life activities. So let's bring all of that together. You can bring your right hand onto your belly, your left hand onto your upper chest, just to bring the awareness and feeling the air kind of go through all those areas, releasing all the air out of the lungs. And let's take an inhale, expanding the belly, bringing the air into the mid-chest, into the upper chest, and gently exhaling through the nose, releasing them out of the air, releasing air out of the lungs and the belly. I like to count to 5 with my inhales and exhales, just making sure it's deep and long. So let's do that in the next round. Inhaling for 5, 4, filling up the belly, 3, 2, mid-chest, and filling up the upper chest. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one last round together. Inhale, filling up the belly, 5, 4, filling up the mid-chest, filling up the upper chest, relaxing the shoulders, and exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little more about the yogic breath. Thank you for following along.